Okay, we can start. Hello to the TOC meeting, 10th of June. Today we have our agenda to review actions from last week, go over the PRC issues and talk about any other business. Actions from last week. Yeah. So last week we had a special TOC meeting. It was dedicated for the cost topic, automation costs in our foundation. And one outcome of the meeting was that we want to track all the efforts we do here in the different working groups in issues. And I had to create the issue. So we have now issue to for the cost efforts. So I decided to create a parent issue, and we have for each working group one sub issue. And I already assigned people to those. Sorry. I put all the information which I've been showing last time here, what is possible to save if we implement the recommendations and if they make sense, of course. Yeah, here's the overall information, and I have the informations also, detailed informations for the different working groups in the sub issues. Anything to mention here? Okay, we had one action item. TOC should get viewer on all GCP accounts. I think this is still not the case. At least I checked last week on Thursday. Today I didn't check. I will transfer the action item. I can check if it's already this the case. I will remove the action item. I saw that Chris requested this. Actually, there was an email communication about the CFP. I didn't reach out to Ron. Most probably this is also not yet the case. I can shortly check. Just this. No,
I see app development.
Yeah, here application development. Yeah, okay, this is done. Okay. Great. Can remove this one. Thanks to Ron. So this one, I'm sorry, I still didn't have time to check on this. I've been looking in the one about what is the automation optimization potential if we skip the archived repositories. To my understanding, we could save 42 minutes if we do not check on the archived repositories. So here we can see some examples from the logs. It looks like the automation needs 12 seconds per archived repo just to check whether the information of the repository. Mm-hmm. This is my understanding. So it is saying archived skipped after 12 seconds. So And I checked on different runs. Here we have different runs, and here is also another repository. It seems to be consistent that 12 seconds are required. I don't know why. So one option is to create an issue and to put the information from here. And at some point, if we have time, we can look into this to just keep this information.
The idea would then be just to remove all repositories from this orgs YAML file that are
Yes.
archived.
I don't know how we can guarantee that archived repositories still stay archived.
It's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
We can have extra job which is running. Maybe it could be just somehow a flag that usually we run the automation without checking the archived repositories, and every week we run the automation with checking also the archived repositories, something like that.
Yeah. If the date is the 1st of the month, right, then you would include the archived repos, and otherwise you filter out the archived repos before passing the file to Perry Bolos.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I will create an issue with that.
Yeah, I would like to have it done on the automation side and not like it's good to keep the archived repos in the metadata, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is all about action items from last week. So dashboard, we can go to the dashboard. We have the inactive users up here, but we have to wait another week here. Still. I've been just looking, there are also some prominent Cloud Foundry users. I don't know, they didn't.
Ping Stevenson. He knows how to open a PR to join again.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We had a similar discussion in ARI a few weeks ago, but there was no reaction, so rights are gone.
Okay, here is one about the OSP API migration.
Yep, this one adds 2 new repos to the copy area in ARI workgroup, so that then the repositories can be transferred from this Open Service Broker API org into the Cloud Foundry org.
So this will just make the empty repos, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards there'll be a main. Okay.
And then I ping Chris to do the heavy lifting.
So we need an action item about
Yeah, and maybe a note to mark the other ones as archived. Or are they going to redirect?
I guess I will. I don't know what happens. The idea what we discussed was to archive them and have in the org description a hint that everything moved over into Cloud Foundry.
I think if you just move them, then they will all be they will redirect.
Yeah.
But then can we then create them up front? Is that I don't know how
so
that works. Okay.
Yeah, you create them up front, then you delete them, then you do the move.
Okay, I see.
So you basically have the org automation do the thing. So you know that works, and then you just put them there.
Okay, on the RFC side, we have a new RFC.
Aha.
Um, this is an RFC about making the service binding recreation easier without a need to have a blue-green deployment. So currently, if you have a binding to a service instance, you can not just create a second binding and remove the first one, and so having in this way just somehow recreate the binding if you want to do this because of different reasons. Cloud controller won't allow you to create a second binding, so you get an error. And that's why you need a blue-green deployment in this case if you want to recreate a service binding. And the idea here is to introduce a new API on the cloud controller side, which enables you to create a new service binding for already existing service binding. And after that, the user needs to restart the application so that the new service binding gets activated, configured in the container, and the old service binding is then still there but not visible inside the application container. And we told that it could be nice to have a command in the CFCLI which can delete such bindings like this. Here's the proposal. And yeah, possible future work. There is some specifications in OSB API 2.17, which is not yet supported by the cloud controller. Cloud controller is at 2.15. With 2.17, it's possible that you have more intelligent rotation because the specification introduce APIs to rotate an existing service binding. But of course, this needs to also changes on the service broker side and cloud controller side, which, yeah, at the moment, we don't know when this can happen. And if this happens, it should be possible to extend the current workflow without, in backward compatible way to use this rotation. And more in the future, should be even possible to update the bindings without the need to restart an application with file-based service binding. But this will require some new APIs on the cloud controller Diego side so that the cloud controller can notify Diego to update the binding of an application.
I don't use this part of Cloud Foundry very often. So you're saying right now, when these get updated, they usually do the blue-green deploy, which means they're actually pushing a whole new app, right? It gets a new app GUID.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I guess my question is, let's say I have my app and it's bound and I want to swap it. If I delete the binding, my app's not getting restarted. Like nothing's changing on the app until I restart the app, right? So why wouldn't I just delete the binding, create a new binding, and then restage my app without pushing?
Because there are service brokers that will, when you unbind, immediately disable the service for you.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, database users, they just get deleted and bad luck
I
for your
see.
app. It still runs,
I
but
see.
Yeah, it all depends on how you coded your broker
Yeah.
in response to the OSB.
It's
So-
not specified in the OSB API how the broker behaves.
You said it's not specified.
No.
Okay. So in this case, in like, if you were getting a new database, if you were changing, so you would do this because what your creds to the database is changing probably?
You
Or
want
because-
you want to rotate the creds for the database, for example.
Mhm. So you would do this with your recreate flag. It would create two services,
No,
but it
No,
would just be
bindings.
two bindings, sorry.
Two bindings to the same database.
Same database. So the database is not going to go away. The
No.
new creds, you restart your app. It gets the new bindings and then you clean up the old ones. Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. I'm
Wonder-
following.
Feels a bit weird, like the naming, like you're creating a credential with or binding with a new name, right? So basically what you're looking for is a new version of an existing binding. Like if I draw a parallel to what we have in CredHub, right? That's where we have, and Bosch, we have versions of credentials. And then you can keep the latest, right? And you can keep track of which versions to keep and which ones are still being used.
We
I
could
mean-
think of renaming it. The name actually is allowed to stay the same. At least that's how we wrote it up. But the binding grid will change because there's no concept like a version currently. But yeah, it's an idea. Why not think about that?
But I see. Oh, that's service two. So the name. So you can have two bindings with the same name.
Yes, and created at will define the versions.
I see. Oh yeah, that's basically a version then.
It's the same resource with a different ID and just created at will find so the versioning because at the moment you don't have version concept.
This recreate flag, does that recreate your app or is it just the service? The binding, sorry.
The binding.
Okay.
It prevents you that you have to specify, I don't know, the service instance to which you bind and the application, etc., because that's all known already. The only thing that is not known, and that's where the Open Service Broker API 2.17 would help, are binding parameters, but it's also a concept that is not that often used. So I would say most of the use cases are covered already with this enhancement.
So will a recreate leave the old version
Yeah.
intact, or will delete it?
Yeah,
That
it's
makes it
necessary because
different. Yeah, I know, I understand that it's necessary, but it's different from what we know in Bosch. For like in Bosch, when you do a recreate, it will delete the old resource and create a new one.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
the word
well.
recreate is it threw me off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think like everything you're explaining, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But when I read
Okay.
the word recreate, that's not what I think. I think throw that old thing out.
I'd about say rotate or rebind maybe instead of recreate.
Sorry, maybe this is nitpicking. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, fine. That's why we have an RC, yeah, right? And you can come. But I think we took
naming is
the
hard.
name from the Open Service Brokers back, because they also talk about recreation of bindings. It's a new one with the same parameter. So
Yeah.
let's see how to come.
But all the people I know recreate as meaning recreating an instance.
Yeah.
But that's because I only
You know
interact
only
with
Bosch
people.
guys.
I did like a big deep dive, like a questionnaire. They all said the same thing.
Yeah,
No, yeah, makes sense.
this wording, yeah, we can change it, no problem.
So all these changes are CAPI and CLI changes.
Yes.
So far, I know you said future possible work.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, please put your comments here. I'm happy and Stephan to discuss. Okay, and I think we don't have any new issues. Still, we don't have Chris here regarding the provider page. And I have created a new view here for the costs. When we have the meeting again, we can use this one. Okay. Any other business regarding working group updates? I will start now scheduling working group updates. Yeah. I'm on vacation next week. Sorry. I won't be here, but after that, if someone wants, can do this.
I can run next week. But, or do you want me to get a working group update for it?
Open to you if you want.
I can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Also,
I just wanted
I'm
to,
gonna be out next week as well, so.
Or
if
maybe we skip
either-
the update.
Yeah. Oh, I just don't know if the remaining 3 of you are in or not, that we have enough consensus for a meeting.
Next week. Tuesday, I'm here.
Yeah, we can skip and I can then the week after if you or if you want Amelia, you can.
Well, I'm looking at who last gave an update, and Pacato is the last one. But other than that, it's app runtime interfaces. So Stephan can give our update.
That's the first. But it's in 2 weeks,
Oh,
right?
so yeah, we can do it in 2 weeks.
Still time.
Okay, is there anything else you want to discuss?
yeah, I just
One-
wanted to remind folks. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm speaking over somebody or the other. I just wanted to remind folks that CFPs for Cloud Foundry Day Europe are open. So if you have any ideas, you're welcome to start submitting them. Just pass the message along to your teams as well.
Yep.
Sometimes we run out of time very quickly for these things. So that was just my thing. Sorry for interjecting.
Problem. There was this idea that we have these, how was it called, cost reports, ternary reports per working group. Did anybody succeed to cope with this tool? Because I tried it, I could save a report and everything is grayed out, and then I gave up after half an hour, having no
ternary?
success. Hmm.
You couldn't make a report?
No.
I'm in the office tomorrow. We can maybe just Zoom. I was able to create.
Okay, then maybe it was just me.
Maybe you are missing some permissions. We can
Mhm.
check. Okay. Then we are done for today. Thank you all for your time and take care. See you next time in 2 weeks for me.
Okay, see you.
Bye.
See you, folks.